name is Hailey Whitaker. The heavy federal courtroom door in downtown Nashville creaked open, and every head in the front row turned at once. My brother Travis leaned back in his custom cowboy boots, flashed that same smug grin he's worn since we were kids, and said loud enough for the whole room to hear, well, the family disgrace actually showed up. Mom and Dad didn't even try to hide their smirks. The bailiff hadn't called the case yet, but Travis was already celebrating like he'd won. I walked straight to the respondent's table in the only tailored blazer I own, the one I bought the day I passed the Tennessee bar nobody knows about, and set down the leather briefcase Grandpa Clarence used to carry to every recording session. Inside were 4 thick folders, color-coded tabs, everything time-stamped and notarized. Travis kept staring, still grinning, waiting for me to cry, beg, or run. He had no idea the girl he laughed at when she fell, the same girl he spent years calling a liar and a junkie to anyone who would listen, had spent every single night since that fall collecting every secret he thought he buried. Brother, you laughed when I fell, but you never knew that day was also when I began gathering every wrong you hid, and now, I finally have enough to shatter the mask you've worn for years. Before this gets insane, drop a comment right now. Where are you watching from and what time is it there? Smash the like button if you've ever had a sibling pretend you were the problem while they hid the real mess. And subscribe because this story is about to go nuclear. Trust me, you won't believe what happens when the truth finally plays at full volume. Let's start from the night. Everything changed. The summer I turned 14, Nashville was drowning in heat and cicadas. One night I couldn't sleep, so I slipped downstairs for water and heard voices coming from the garage. The side door was cracked open just enough for me to see my brother Travis pacing in circles, face white, hands shaking, still wearing the same blood-specked white t-shirt he'd had on when he left the house earlier. Mom was crying without sound. Dad on the phone talking low and fast. I caught pieces. Female pedestrian, 20s, not breathing. No cameras on that stretch of old hickory. Travis kept repeating, I only had a couple beers. I swear. Dad snapped the phone shut, looked straight at him and said, we fix this tonight. Money talks louder than breathalyzers in this town. They never knew I was there. I backed away, heart hammering so loud I was sure they'd hear it, and hid in the laundry room until the garage door rolled down. The next morning the news ran a short segment about a hit-and-run outside a honky-tonk in East Nashville. No suspects. Family asking for prayers. By lunchtime, the story was already gone. That was the moment everything flipped. Overnight Travis became untouchable. Dad pulled strings. Mom wrote checks. And suddenly the police report said the driver fled the scene in a dark sedan nobody ever found. Travis walked free and decided the best defense was offense. Starting with me, he told everyone at school I was the one with the problem. First day back that fall, he cornered me at my locker and whispered, you breathe one word about what you think you heard and I'll make sure nobody believes a thing you ever say again. Then he smiled for the crowd and told them I'd been stealing his ADHD meds. By the end of the week half the sophomore class called me pillhead. Teachers looked at me different. Guidance counselor pulled me in for random drug tests I always passed, but the damage was done. He kept going. When I made honor roll, he said I paid someone to take my tests. When I got accepted to Vanderbilt on scholarship, he told our cousins I was sleeping with the admissions officer. Every time I tried to fight back, he just laughed louder. Posted screenshots of private messages he twisted, tagged me in memes about liars and losers. Friends ghosted me one by one. Even teachers started believing his version because, well, he was Travis Carter, future face of Whitaker Records. And I was just the quiet little sister who suddenly had issues. I learned early that screaming the truth only made me look crazier, so I shut up, kept my head down, and started saving everything. Screenshots, voice memos, when he got sloppy and bragged, screenshots of his own posts before he deleted them. Every time he lied, I added another file to a folder I named insurance. The only person who never bought his story was Grandpa Clarence. He'd built Whitaker Records from nothing, signed half the legends on Music Row, and could smell bullshit from 3 counties away. Every other Sunday he'd pick me up in his old Silverado, take me to his cabin on Percy Priest Lake, and let me talk, or not talk. He never pushed. He just listened, then handed me a fresh legal pad and said, write it down, darlin'. Paper doesn't forget and it doesn't flinch. He taught me how to date files, how to back things up in 3 places, how to keep my mouth shut until the right moment. One day, he told me the last time I saw him alive, they're gonna come for what's yours. When they do, you make sure you got the receipts. I thought he was just being dramatic. I was wrong. 8 years of hell. 8 years of being the family cautionary tale. 8 years of watching Travis party on yachts while I worked doubles at a Broadway bar to pay tuition. 8 years of swallowing every insult, every smirk, every fake concerned hug in Christmas photos. And every single second of it, I was adding to that folder. Because the night Travis killed that girl and laughed his way out of it, I started counting. Next thing that happened changed the stakes forever. 13 months ago, I got the call at 6:14 a.m. while I was pouring coffee in my tiny East Nashville apartment. Mom's voice cracked on the first syllable. "It's Grandpa Clarence." He didn't wake up. I drove straight to the hospital on West End. The nurse met me at the door and just shook her head. Massive stroke, gone within minutes. I stood there in the hallway until Dad showed up with Travis riding shotgun in the new Escalade, both of them already wearing black like they'd planned the outfit weeks in advance. The funeral was 3 days later at Woodlawn. Half of Music Row came. Old steel guitar players cried openly. Travis gave a speech about legacy and family, and the man who taught us everything. I sat in the back row next to Sierra, my cousin who still believed whatever Travis told her, and didn't shed a single tear on camera. I saved those for the drive home. A week after we put him in the ground, the family lawyer's assistant called and said we all needed to be at the Whitaker Records building on Music Row the following Tuesday at 10 sharp. No explanation. I almost didn't go. I was still paying off hospital parking tickets and eating ramen 5 nights a week. But something in her tone made me show up. The conference room smelled like lemon polish and old money. Dad sat at the head of the table like he already owned the place. Mom kept touching the diamond cross necklace Grandpa had given her for her 50th. Travis sprawled in the leather chair he always saved for special guests, boots on the table. Sierra sat next to me, taking selfies. The lawyer, a silver-haired man named Mr. Hargrove who'd handled Grandpa's affairs for 40 years, cleared his throat and started reading. The first 20 minutes were standard. Cash gifts to longtime employees, $1 million donations to the Country Music Hall of Fame, a trust for the grandkids' education nobody knew about. Then he turned the page, and the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. To my son Wayne Carter, I leave my vintage Gibson J45 and the lake house in Franklin, free and clear. Dad nodded like that was expected. To my daughter-in-law Marcia Carter, I leave the jewelry collection and the Cadillac. Mom dabbed her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. To my grandson Travis Carter, I leave the house on Franklin Road and its contents. Travis leaned back, satisfied smirk already forming. Mr. Hargrove paused, looked over his glasses at me, and continued. And to my granddaughter Hailey Whitaker, I leave 60% of the outstanding shares in Whitaker Records, all publishing rights I still personally own, and full voting control of the board effective immediately. Current fair market valuation of her share is estimated at $3,500,000. The smirk froze on Travis's face. Mom actually gasped. Dad's jaw clenched so hard I heard it click. Sierra whispered, "What the hell?" loud enough for the court reporter to glance up. Travis recovered first. He laughed, short and sharp. There's no way. He was on pain meds the last 6 months. He didn't know what he was signing. Mr. Hargrove didn't even blink. He slid a thick folder across the table toward me. Inside was the original will, dated 2 years earlier, signed in blue ink. Witnessed by 2 studio musicians and a notary who'd been sober 30 years. At the bottom, in Grandpa's unmistakable scrawl, he'd written one line, "She's the only one who never asked for a damn thing. Give her the keys." Travis stood up so fast his chair rolled into the wall. "This is elder abuse. We'll contest it." Dad put a hand on his shoulder, voice low. "Sit down, son." But his eyes were already calculating attorney fees. Asterisk, I didn't say a word. I just closed the folder, tucked it under my arm, and walked out past the gold and platinum records lining the hallway. Behind me, I heard Travis hiss, "She's going to run this company into the ground in 6 months." I didn't look back. 2 weeks later, they invited me to the house in Belmead for what they called a family discussion. I pulled up to the Belmead mansion on a Saturday afternoon that felt more like a summons than an invitation. The wrought iron gates were already open, the long driveway lined with black SUVs I didn't recognize. A valet I'd never seen before took my keys without making eye contact. Inside, the house smelled like bourbon and fresh lilies. Mom met me in the foyer, wearing a navy blazer and the same fake smile she used for charity galas. "We're in the study," she said, like we were gathering for Sunday brunch instead of an ambush. Dad sat behind the mahogany desk that used to be Grandpa's. Travis lounged on the leather sofa, boots off this time, scrolling his phone. A stranger in a charcoal suit stood by the window, briefcase open on the side table. Mom introduced him as Malcolm Pierce, the family's new estate attorney. They didn't waste time on small talk. Malcolm slid a thick document across the desk. Gold lettering on the cover read Family Asset Realignment Agreement. He clicked his expensive pen and got straight to it. The company is currently valued at $5.8 million. Your 60% share is worth roughly $3.5 million. However, he paused, letting the word hang. The board has concerns about continuity, market volatility, and your lack of industry experience. Travis snorted but didn't look up from his screen. Malcolm continued, to protect the legacy your grandfather built, the family proposes to purchase your shares at a fixed price of $1 million, payable over 5 years, tax-free, plus a lifetime royalty override of 1% on all catalog revenue. In return, you sign over voting rights immediately and agree to a non-compete. $1 million. For something worth 3.5 times that. I almost laughed. Dad finally spoke. It's more than fair. Hailey, you walk away with cash in hand. No risk, no headaches. You can buy a condo downtown. Travel, do whatever you want. Mom leaned forward, voice syrupy. Sweetheart, this kind of money can be overwhelming. We've seen artists lose everything to bad investments. We just want to keep the family together and the company safe. I flipped to page 7. There it was, in black and white. If I refused, they reserved the right to seek court-ordered mediation, or, if necessary, petition for a conservatorship, citing documented concerns about financial competency and substance issues. I closed the folder and looked at Travis. He finally put the phone down, smirking like he'd been waiting for this moment his whole life. I asked the only question that mattered, and if I say no? Malcolm didn't blink. Then we proceed through the courts. Tennessee law is very clear about protecting vulnerable beneficiaries. Discovery can be thorough. Travis stood up slowly, walked over until he was close enough for me to smell his cologne. You've never run so much as a lemonade stand, he said, voice low. You'll tank the label in a year, and every artist we've signed for 3 generations will jump ship. Do the right thing for once. Mom reached for my hand. I pulled it back. Dad leaned forward, elbows on the desk. Sign it. Hailey, this isn't a negotiation. I picked up the pen, turned it over in my fingers, then set it down exactly where it had been. No. The room went perfectly still. Even the grandfather clock seemed to stop ticking. Travis's smirk vanished. You're making a mistake. I stood up, tucked the unsigned agreement under my arm, and walked toward the door. At the threshold I turned around. You want my shares? I said. Come and take them. Travis's face twisted. Then we do this the hard way. Malcolm started packing his briefcase. Mom called after me, voice cracking for real this time. Hailey, please. I didn't break stride. The valet had my car waiting. I drove straight through the gates, without looking in the rearview mirror once. For weeks. Later, the process server showed up at my apartment, with a thick envelope and a court date. The thick envelope arrived on a month later, while I was microwaving leftover Thai food. The process server didn't even wait for me to sign, just handed it over and walked away. Inside was a petition for emergency conservatorship over my person and estate, filed in Davidson County Chancery Court. Petitioner, Travis Carter. Grounds, ongoing substance abuse disorder, history of self-harm, and inability to manage substantial assets. They attached 37 exhibits, printouts of old Instagram stories I'd posted at 19 after crying all night, screenshots of texts taken out of context, a forged pharmacy record claiming I'd filled multiple oxycodone scripts. The year Grandpa died, I'd never touched opioids in my life. The crown jewel was a sworn affidavit from a concerned family member, stating I'd been in and out of rehab facilities. That didn't exist. Travis didn't wait for the court date to start the campaign. That same night he posted a 12-minute TikTok filmed in soft lighting, acoustic guitar playing low in the background. He wore a plain gray hoodie, looked straight into the camera, and told 8 million followers that his little sister was fighting demons most people can't imagine. He flashed a photo of me at 16, eyes swollen and bloodshot from crying after he'd locked me out of the house in the rain, and captioned it, "Pray for my little sister. Addiction doesn't care how much money you have." The video hit 10 million views in 48 hours. Comments poured in from strangers. Sending love, so brave of you to speak out. Poor girl needs help. Country music Twitter picked it up. Industry blogs ran headlines. Whitaker Records heiress spiraling. My Phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications from people I hadn't spoken to since high school, offering support and asking if the rumors were true. Monday morning, I walked into the downtown accounting firm where I'd been senior staff for 4 years. HR and the managing partner were waiting in the conference room. They slid a single sheet of paper across the table. Paid administrative leave effective immediately, pending resolution of public concerns regarding professional conduct. Translation: we can't have a suspected addict handling millionaire clients' books. I cleaned out my desk in silence. The security guard watched me pack my cactus and my noise-canceling headphones into a cardboard box. By Wednesday, every distant cousin, every former sorority sister, every bartender who'd ever served me a single glass of wine had received some version of the same group text from Travis. Just letting y'all know, we're trying to get Hailey the help she needs. Please keep us in your prayers. Sierra, my cousin who used to sneak me into concerts when I was 15, blocked me on everything and posted a black and white story that just said family first. I tried calling her once, straight to voicemail, left a message asking why, never got a reply. The isolation was instant and surgical. Invites to industry parties dried up. The few friends I had left stopped answering texts. One even sent a Venmo request for $50 for the drinks you owed me last year, the same day Travis's video dropped. I paid it just to make the notification go away. I stopped going to grocery stores on Broadway because people stared. Stopped going to shows because artists I'd known since childhood pretended not to see me. Stopped checking social media because every scroll was another stranger diagnosing me. Another former classmate sharing Travis's video with crying emojis. I sat in my apartment with the blinds closed, eating cereal for dinner, watching my savings disappear on legal retainers I hadn't hired yet. For 3 nights straight, I stared at the unsigned purchase agreement they'd offered and actually considered taking the million just to make it stop. Then I remembered Grandpa's voice the last time we drove out to the lake. They only win if you let them write your story. I closed the laptop, opened the safe deposit key he'd mailed me 6 months before he died, and drove to the bank at 8 a.m. the next morning. 5 weeks before the hearing, everything was lined up against me. The key Grandpa mailed me 6 months before he died only had one word written on the envelope in his handwriting: studio. I drove to Music Row at dawn, parked behind the building, and let myself in with the master key nobody had asked me to return. The control room still smelled like his pipe tobacco. I found the wall safe behind the framed platinum record for Tennessee whiskey. The combination was my birthday. Backward. Inside was a single black USB drive labeled insurance, in the same blue Sharpie he used for set lists. I took it home and plugged it into my laptop. With the screen brightness turned all the way down, the drive opened to one folder titled 2008. Inside were 4 files. First was a 43-minute audio recording dated the night of the accident. Dad's voice, low and furious. 1 million wired tonight. Another million when she signs the NYA. A woman I didn't recognize crying. She was 26. She had a little boy. Mom cutting in. We all want what's best for the child. The money will take care of him. Then Travis, slurring but clear enough. Tell them I wasn't driving. Tell them anything. Second file. The original Tennessee Highway Patrol report. Driver listed as Travis James Carter. Blood alcohol .21. Vehicle registered in his name. Tire marks consistent with his lifted Silverado. Third file. The hospital blood draw showing cocaine metabolites along with the alcohol. Fourth. A handwritten letter from Grandpa, dated 2 weeks after the accident. I've paid to keep this quiet because I thought I was protecting the company. I was wrong. If they ever come for Hailey's share, give her everything in this drive. She's the only one who never lied to me. My hands shook so hard I had to set the laptop down. I didn't sleep. At 7 a.m., I called Cole Ramsey, the only person from my night law classes who'd actually passed the bar last spring. We'd studied together at the 24-hour diner on Demon Brune because neither of us could afford better. I told him I had something he needed to hear in person. He met me at his tiny office above a pawn shop on Charlotte. He listened to the recording once, face getting paler with every minute. When it finished, he looked up and said, "This is felony evidence tampering, bribery, and accessory after the fact. And that blood report alone is enough for vehicular homicide." I asked the only question that mattered. Can we find the woman they paid off? Cole spent the next 3 weeks doing what he does best, digging. He tracked down the victim's mother through old property records in Clarksville, then found the non-disclosure agreement buried in a trust account, and located the one person who'd been in the room when the money changed hands. Jenna Holt, the victim's former manager, who'd walked away from the industry the day the check cleared. Jenna was living in a double-wide outside Murfreesboro, raising her grandson on a waitress salary. Cole called her from a blocked number, told her who he was, and asked if she remembered the night Lauren Whitaker died. There was a long silence. Then she said, "I remember every second. I've been waiting 15 years for someone to ask." We met her at a Waffle House at 2 a.m. She brought a shoebox full of letters Lauren had written the week before she died, photos from the studio session earlier that day, and the original contract Lauren had been about to sign with Whitaker Records. The next morning, she looked me in the eye and said, "Your brother took her future. Your family paid me to forget her name. I never did." She agreed to testify. In exchange, we promised the grandson a college fund and a signed affidavit that would finally put Lauren's real story on the record. Cole filed every motion possible to keep the evidence sealed until trial. We knew the second Malcolm Pierce caught wind of it, they'd try to bury us in paperwork or worse. While Cole worked the legal side, I worked the company side. I requested every board meeting minute since Grandpa's death, every royalty statement, every contract signed under Travis's watch. The more I read, the clearer it became. Travis had been borrowing against future catalog earnings to fund his own side projects, leaving the company millions in debt. Nobody on the board had noticed because Dad kept signing off. I printed everything, organized it into binders, and stored duplicates in 3 different safe deposit boxes. 1 week before the hearing, Cole looked across the diner table and said the words I'd been waiting my whole life to hear. "We don't just beat the conservatorship, Hailey, we end them." The morning of the hearing, I wore the same navy blazer from the Belmead meeting, carried Grandpa's old briefcase, and walked into court knowing exactly what I was about to do. The courtroom smelled like old wood polish and panic. Travis sat front row in a navy suit that cost more than most people's rent. Legs crossed, scrolling his phone like he was waiting for coffee. Mom dabbed her eyes with a laced handkerchief. Dad stared straight ahead, jaw locked. Malcolm Pierce shuffled papers at the petitioner's table, looking calm, until he saw me walk in alone carrying Grandpa's battered briefcase. The judge, Honorable Patricia Rees, took the bench and scanned the file. Matter of the petition for conservatorship of Hailey Whitaker. Counsel for petitioner, Malcolm stood. Malcolm Pierce on behalf of Travis Carter. Your Honor. Judge Ruiz turned to me, and for the I rose, smoothed my blazer, and looked her straight in the eye. Your Honor, I am representing myself, Hailey Whitaker, admitted to the Tennessee bar this past March. Bar number 041887. You could have heard a guitar pick drop. Travis's phone slipped from his hand and clattered on the marble floor. Mom's handkerchief froze halfway to her face. Malcolm's mouth actually opened. Judge Ruiz raised an eyebrow, recovered fast. Very well. Petitioner may proceed. Malcolm started with the usual script. History of instability, social media evidence, concern for asset dissipation. He was 10 minutes in when I stood again. Objection. Your Honor, may I approach with a counter-motion to dismiss and a request for emergency evidentiary hearing? She waved us up. I handed the clerk 6 bound exhibits and took my place at the lectern. Exhibit A. I began, clicking the overhead projector. The 2008 recording filled the speakers. Dad's voice offering money. Mom negotiating silence. Travis admitting he was behind the wheel. The entire gallery went dead silent. Malcolm shot up. Objection. Chain of custody. Relevance overruled. Judge Ruiz snapped. Continue. Exhibit B. Original THP crash report listing Travis as driver. Exhibit C. Hospital toxicology, showing blood alcohol point to 1+ cocaine. Exhibit D. Sworn affidavit from Jenna Holt, present the night payment was made. Exhibit E. Bank records of 2 $1 million wires from a Whitaker Records account the same week. Exhibit F. Grandpa Clarence's handwritten letter authenticating every file. I turned to the bench. This petition isn't about protecting me, Your Honor. It's about concealing a 15-year-old felony. The petitioner committed vehicular homicide, his parents committed bribery and evidence tampering, and this conservatorship action is their latest attempt to silence the only witness who's been telling the truth since 2008. Me. Travis finally found his voice. She's lying. That recording is fake. Judge Ruiz ignored him. Eyes on the screen where the blood report glowed red. She looked at the bailiff. Deputy, place Travis Carter under arrest. Charges: vehicular homicide by intoxication, evidence tampering, conspiracy. The gallery erupted. Travis tried to stand. 2 deputies were on him before his chair hit the floor. Handcuffs clicked. Mom screamed his name. Dad just stared at me like he was seeing a ghost. Malcolm tried one last move. Your Honor, even if true, this is a separate criminal matter. Judge Ruiz cut him off. The conservatorship petition is dismissed with prejudice. I am referring this file to the district attorney for immediate prosecution and to the state bar for investigation of counsel's conduct. Court is adjourned. The gavel slammed like a gunshot. They dragged Travis past me, still yelling that I'd doctored everything. Our eyes met for half a second. For the first time in my life, he looked small. I packed Grandpa's briefcase, walked out past flashing cameras, and didn't look back once. 8 months later, the consequences were still rolling in. 8 months later, I stood in the same Davidson County courtroom for Travis's sentencing. The prosecutor asked for 15 years. The judge gave him 8. 5 for vehicular homicide by intoxication. 3 consecutive for evidence tampering and witness bribery. Travis stood in an orange jumpsuit. No more custom boots. No more smirk. When the marshal led him away, he didn't look at Mom or Dad. He looked at me for half a second, then dropped his eyes to the floor. The civil suit came next. Lauren Whitaker's son, now 17, sued through his grandmother Jenna. The jury took 4 hours to award $2,800,000 in wrongful death damages. My parents had to liquidate everything: the Bell Mead house, the Franklin property, the lake cabin, even Mom's jewelry. Whitaker Records filed Chapter 7 the same week. The catalog got sold at auction, piece by piece, to cover the judgment. By Christmas, the neon sign on Music Row was dark for the first time since 1974. I bought back the masters I could afford, moved the remaining staff to a smaller building on Demon, and reopened under the original name Grandpa used when he started in a garage. Clarence Whitaker Productions. We're profitable again. Not giant, but honest. I legally changed my last name to Whitaker the day the judge signed the order. Hailey Carter died in that courtroom the same day her brother was sentenced. Hailey Whitaker walked out. The Lauren Whitaker Memorial Scholarship launched last spring. First recipient was Jenna's grandson. Full ride to Belmont's music business program. 10 more kids got awards this fall. All first generation. All working nights like I did. Every check is signed in blue ink. Bomb sent 1 email. 6 weeks after the bankruptcy filing. I hope one day you'll understand we only did what we thought was right. I read it once and archived it. No reply. Dad tried calling from a blocked number 3 months ago. I let it ring until voicemail filled up. Then changed my number the next day. Travis wrote a letter from Riverbend asking if I'd visit. The prison returned it unopened with my new last name on the envelope. Sierra unfollowed and refollowed me twice on Instagram. Then posted a vague quote about forgiveness. I blocked her and every account that still carried the Carter name. I sold the East Nashville apartment, packed what fit in my truck, and moved 3 hours west to a quiet house on Kentucky Lake where nobody knows the old stories. The nearest neighbor is half a mile away and plays banjo on his porch at sunset. I sit on mine with a glass of sweet tea and listen. Sometimes reporters still call asking for the sister's side. I stopped answering months ago. The only picture on my desk is one Grandpa took of me at 15. Standing in the vocal booth holding headphones too big for my head, grinning like I'd already won. On the back, he wrote, "Keep your head up, kid. The song ain't over till you say it is." Travis will be 43 when he walks out. Mom and Dad will be in their 70s with nothing but Social Security and regret. The company they tried to steal is mine now, and it's clean. I don't hate them anymore. Hate takes energy I'd rather spend on the next kid who needs a scholarship, the next artist who needs a fair deal that doesn't screw them, the next sunrise over the lake that has my real name on the mailbox. Brother, you laughed when I fell. You never saw me get back up, and now the mask is off. The lights are out, and I'm finally free. Thanks for listening. If this story hit you, drop a comment and tell me. Would you have answered that email? Or done exactly what I did? I read every single one. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. I wish all of you good health, good luck, and plenty of joy. Remember to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next stories, better and more interesting ones. Thank you.